Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and today it is time to hop back on the MJ train. And today it looks like we're headed to Brazil, everybody. A comment came through by Daisy Hall. Daisy wrote in and said a good MJ song and video having a strong message is They Don't Care About Us, which was filmed in the favelas of Rio de Janeiro. I understand they had to get permission from a drug lord while entering his territory in the favelas. And in typical MJ fashion, he not only got permission, but he got a good deal on the favela's residents to play drums on the video. What? I'm going to look into the backstory a little more at the end of today's reaction, but thank you for this interesting context. Another viewer, Liz S, wrote in and said, check out They Don't Care About Us. There is a Brazilian version and then the prison version. Directly after today's video, everybody, I'm going to be checking out the prison version, as well as a live performance of They Don't Care About Us from Munich 1997. And those will both be on Patreon. So I hope you come join me for that. And then lastly, Dana Andrea or Dana, Dan Andrea. Let me know how you pronounce your name, please. But they wrote in and said, They Don't Really Care About Us is another amazing truth put to music. Very powerful, much love. Okay, I love how you put that. Truth put to music. Earth Song was truth put to music, not the other way around. I'm going to start using that now. I like that. Keep the recommendations coming. I'm going to keep going through all of your comments. Thank you all so much for the love. It's time to head to Brazil. Sit back and enjoy, everybody. This is my first time ever watching MJ, They Don't Care About Us, the Brazilian version. And I think I've heard the song before, but I've never watched this music video or the prison one. Sit back and enjoy. Here we go.
Michael, eles não ligam pra gente. Michael, eles não ligam pra gente.
Wow. Is it a police scam? Oh. Oh. Whew. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, man. Oh man. That last little cry at the end. It's visceral. That's like a cry to whoever is up above to help us, right? Michael may be the messenger or deity on earth, sharing the message, beating the drum along with the kids from the favela, as Daisy pointed out. But it comes to a point where it's like only one man can do so much. And that one man did more than 1,000,000 men combined or 1,000,000,000 men combined. But he's still only one man. That was an interesting cry here at the end. Oh, almost very triumphant as well. Like, I did it. I made my mark. Now it's up to you. Wow. Okay, everybody. So my viewer Daisy primed me for this. Daisy was right. He had kids in what appears to be a favela playing the drums. He was just walking around, bringing so much joy to the neighborhood. Even leaning on police officers at one point. It didn't feel like a contentious relationship in the music video with the police officers. But he did at one point say he was a victim of police brutality. So it seems like he's speaking on behalf of populations of people who have been marginalized and who have been victimized by the systems at B, the power systems. And police officers are a part of that. part of those who have historically marginalized and victimized black and brown people. But it's interesting because in the music video, you have a lot of black and brown police officers, right? Because he's in Brazil. So it doesn't seem contentious, but he's pointing at him right here. Let me replay this part. Oh. Oh. And he says Roosevelt right here. I assume he's talking about Theodore Roosevelt or Franklin Roosevelt. Help me out here, everybody. One of the past presidents, I believe, of the United States. But he says Roosevelt, and then he says MLK. He says if MLK were living, he wouldn't let it be. So he's calling on past figures who I assume, I'm not too knowledgeable about Roosevelt, but MLK for sure left their mark and made a change for the better. This song is another example, similar to Earth Song, of not only Michael Jackson putting truth to music, but also an example of him building a song and letting the message spread throughout the song, if that makes sense. In Earth Song and in this song, he sprinkled a little bit of message, sprinkled a little bit of beat, a little bit of music in the beginning. And in every 30-minute or 30-second increment, it built on top of it to the point where by the end, as I mentioned, he's letting out a cry or a scream. And that's like the culmination. That's the very end of him sharing his message. But it's so interesting how he approaches these songs and builds them musically, but also sharing the message more powerfully. I love it because you don't want to start the song too heavy. You want to ease people into it. This is a difficult message for a lot of people to hear. So he eases us into it. And then, he'll give us those heartfelt moments where you can tell he's truly feeling what he's preaching. He's not faking. And then by the end, people are loving him. A woman rushes over. People are waving at him. He's the hero, man. I think I need to do a lyrical analysis, everybody, because it was a little hard to make out exactly what he was saying at all parts. But I heard him say, set me free. Of course, Roosevelt, MLK, police brutality. A lot of talk about how I assume the powers that be don't really care about us. So let me look this song up and please let me know your thoughts about this music video because it was quite beautiful, especially these scenes right here where you have everybody lining the streets and Michael's just, he's dancing on the stairs, right? Not in flashy clothes, right? He's blending in with the people. He's wearing what they would wear. Now here, that's just Michael showing some chest now. I love this moment right here where he walks up to the police officer and leans on him. Police brutality, no. Oh. Those moments, man, are reminiscent of how I felt in Earth Song, right? Where he's just like, he's got to let it out. And he does so in spurts. All right, let's head over to Genius real quick to see if we can pick up anything from the lyrics, which I'm sure we're going to pick up a whole lot. This is one of Michael's most controversial songs of all time and was accused of being anti-Semitic. Okay, what did he say in here that was anti-Semitic? There were a few moments that felt like they were censored or warped. Let me know if I was hearing things or if you also heard that. It says the song is a plea against racism and a call for powerful people to stop ignoring human rights. It's as simple as that. However, some interpreted these lyrics to have the absolute opposite meaning of Jackson's intent. Jackson denied this later and was offended his lyrics could be interpreted that way. Well, of course, people are gonna try to pick apart his lyrics and use them against him. But we're about to find out what they actually say, everybody, as long as Genius is giving it to us straight. All right, so he starts the song by saying, all I want to say is they don't really care about us. That's all he wants to say. He's just got something to say. And it says they represents the government, in particular the police. Minorities like African Americans are often mistreated in the system, making the minorities feel unloved or unwanted. Don't worry what people say. We know the truth. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. Enough is enough of this garbage. Okay, all right. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. And it says here, miscommunication, governance, debate, and conflict are all issues faced by Black communities. Michael Jackson in this song critiques many social, communal, and political problems Black African Americans, Brazilians, mestizos face as police brutality, violence, hate, and litigation. Enough is enough of this garbage depicts these injustices. The original music video showcases drummers from different regions of Salvador de Bahia and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in an effort to spread awareness, peace, and hope about social conflicts. Okay, see, this hits hard, everybody, because it's not just the US that he's focused on. He brought this to Brazil to share this message because the same thing happens in Brazil. The same thing happens all around the world and has been happening for a very long time. Okay, this was interesting because I couldn't pick up what he was saying here, but he says skinhead, deadhead, everybody gone bad, situation aggravation, everybody allegation, in the suit, on the news, everybody dog food, bang bang, shot dead, everybody's gone mad. Let's break it down. The term skinhead refers to members of a movement in the 60s and 70s against hippies, and then later against racism. Wait, what? Skinheads were part of a group against racism? A subgroup of skinheads, however, were violent racists and gave the world the negative connotation, or the word the negative connotation it has today. See, that's the meaning that I'm aware of. But I didn't know they were just a subgroup. It says Deadhead is the name referring to fans of the band Grateful Dead, I've heard of them, and are generally hippies. Jackson is presenting a good contrast of two cultures in this line. Fascinating. So skinheads were originally against hippies and then later against racism. How did there become a subgroup of skinheads who were violent racists? Or is that a dumb question to ask? Please help a brother out. He packed so much in there in such a short and concise verse. He was using words, skinhead, deadhead, everybody gone bad, situation, aggravation, everybody, allegation, in the suit, on the news, everybody, dog food, bang, bang, shot dead, everybody's gone mad. This is MJ the rapper, everybody. All right, then he repeats the chorus. And then for verse 2, he does something very similar, but he changes up the lyrics. He says, beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Jew me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me. I'm not going to say that word. Me. Don't you black or white me. Now I understand. I think that was the word that was censored out. Okay. So it says here he is saying that you could beat him up and hate him, but he will never show signs of breaking or losing it. More flatly, going insane, or showing that he is hurt by any of it. Beat me, hate me, you can never break me. Will me, thrill me, you can never kill me. Everybody do me. Don't you black or white. So don't black or white me. Don't Don't put me in a box. Don't try to kill me. That is very ironic. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Let me know if any of you out there also read this or hear his voice and feel like it's almost like he's speaking to us now, right? After having already passed. That's a weird feeling that I'm feeling. Oh my goodness. All right, then we have a post-chorus here. He says, and tell me what has become of my life. I have a wife and 2 children who love me. I am a victim of police brutality now. I'm tired of being a victim of hate. Okay. You're me of my pride. Oh, for God's sake. I don't like having to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free. All right. Here it says Prince and Paris. I think those are his children, right? Were not born yet when History was released in 1995. Michael Jackson is actually referencing his first wife, Lisa Marie Presley, who was featured in the music video for Michael's You Are Not Alone, and his 2 stepchildren, Danielle and Benjamin. And then he repeats this verse, but adds a little twist at the end here, it looks like. Skinhead, deadhead, everybody gone bad. Trepidation, speculation, everybody allegation. In the suit, on the news. Everybody dog food. Black man, black mouth. Throw the brother in jail. All right, we have a little breakdown here. It says speculation, everybody allegation. Portrays and demonstrates the injustice in society, which still continues to this day, specifically to black people, from those who stereotype and should instead find a hobby. More so, trepidation showcases the relentless anxiety and fear black people face day in, day out, furthermore demonstrating the injustice in society and the need for change. As the song progresses, Michael states, but if Martin Luther was living, he wouldn't let this be. This suggesting and proving the lack of aid from those of power, majorly the government. It challenges the ignorance of those who are able to help, yet decide to stay silent, whilst additionally advocating for those who may be victims of such abuse to keep speaking out. That's the vibe I got, not only from this line. If Martin Luther was living, he wouldn't let this be. But as I mentioned, the scream or cry at the end, it felt like it was his way of saying, somebody help me, somebody else, the government. Okay. All right, we have a little bit more here. A post-chorus, it says, and tell me what has become of my rights. Am I invisible because you ignore me? Your proclamation promised me free liberty. Okay, I'm tired of being a victim of shame. You're throwing me in a class with a bad name. I can't believe this is the land from which I came. Am I crazy, or is MJ spitting on this song, everybody? All right, this annotation says he's looking back at his life and where he came from. Michael is African American, and America is supposedly the land of liberty and free. But that is not the case. The government don't want you to see how much of a dictatorship we are actually in. The word prophecy came up today, everybody. This feels like Michael prophesied this. Because if you read this in the context of 2026, just saying, not to get too political with this, I'll let Michael do that. But just saying. All right, and then we have a bridge here that says, I really do hate to say it. The government don't want to see. But if Roosevelt was living, he wouldn't let this be. No. Let's see what Roosevelt he's talking about. It says, while Jackson references U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, it is actually unknown if he wouldn't let this be. Interesting. FDR has been accused of racism. FDR was popular with African Americans because of his New Deal policies, although there was never any New Deal program that was for the direct benefit of the black community. But the reverse is less than true. Okay, FDR's wife, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, was the one who stood up against racism. All right. So it seems like Michael liked Roosevelt nonetheless and believed that he wouldn't let this be if he were living. All right. He repeats the verse here. I believe we already read all that. And the chorus. And then he says some things in life they just don't see or don't want to see. But if Martin Luther was living, he wouldn't let this be. Now we know that's the damn truth. Michael's echoing Martin Luther's legacy, and in particular the ideas and statements proudly professed during his famous I Have a Dream speech, which I have watched countless times. I used to work in the National Abolition Hall of Fame and Museum in Peterborough, New York, and we had a Smithsonian exhibit on loan, and there was a video that played this every day on repeat. I would hear it hundreds of times per day. So Michael's echoing these ideas from the speech, in that he understands what such legendary civil rights movement campaigners went through in order to destroy racial barriers and bring society forward. They would be ashamed to see what's going on, even in light of their trials and tribulations decades ago. Yeah, see, this line hits harder because I think we can all agree that MLK would not let it be. He would always be fighting if he were still alive. This line right here, in the suit on the news, everybody dog food. I'm glad they have an annotation here. It says negative press and allegations regarding Michael Jackson are being fed to the masses through propaganda streams, and whether people want to believe it or not, it's being provided to them. The dog food reference may mean that the news is just poor journalism, bad quality food, thrown together to make a story out of nothing. It could also suggest that we, the public, are dog food to the high powers that be, who are the big dogs that call the shots. All right, this is a double entendre or possibly a triple or quadruple entendre. You could read into this in multiple different ways, but I like how he addresses what's happening with this line. That's a brilliant line right there. In the suit on the news, everybody, dog food. Dog food. And then he ends by saying, all I want to say is they don't really care about us. And he repeats that, we're deep in the fire. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. I'm there to remind you. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. Don't sit back and watch the beating. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. He repeats that, and he ends with hee hee hoo hoo. The Michael scream. And we have one final annotation here. It says, during the music video, Michael is depicted in a favela, a poverty-stricken area or slum of Brazil. It could relate to first world countries not giving enough support to third world countries. Another potential meaning is that Michael references the corruption within either the US government or possibly higher authorities, secret societies, and how they demonstrate a lack of care regarding the general public, notably African Americans and those living in poverty-stricken communities and countries. And I think this is a tweet from his daughter. It says, it took me a while to figure out who they are and they don't care about us. But I found out like 3 years ago. Retweet if you know what it means. Oh, they. I think we have a good idea, right? I think we all have different ideas of who they are. And they, our ideas would all be applicable. But when he was writing the song in 1995 or 1996, it seems like he was keeping it broad for a reason. The powers that be. Systems. Now, before I check out this prison version, everybody, I just want to read a bit more on Wikipedia. And please let me know your thoughts about the lyrics. How did you interpret them? What line hit you the hardest? I think for me, the line or the verse where he first spit. This one right here hit me the hardest. Because again, I'm a major fan of hip hop, rapping, and what Michael did here felt like rapping. Like he couldn't sing this necessarily to get his message across. He was using words and saying it so fast that he sort of had to spit it or spill it out. Skinhead, deadhead, everybody gone, bad trepidation, speculation, everybody allegation. I wouldn't be surprised if rappers or artists nowadays interpolated the way that he did this or used some of these lines in their songs. So that's my favorite part. What was yours? All right, lastly, everybody. On Wikipedia, it says the initial release contained ethnic slurs, triggering accusations of anti-Semitism. Jackson issued an apology saying the lyrics had been intended to draw attention to social injustice and altered future copies. Okay, so that's what we heard. We heard the altered version in the music video. Now, this right here, I think, is a good segue into the prison music video or prison video. It says 2 music videos were directed by Spike Lee. Shout out to Spike, man. I might have to check out Jam before the NBA Finals is up, because I've heard many of you tell me that Jam featured the other MJ. Let me know if you want that. So 2 music videos were directed by Spike Lee. The first was shot in Pelourinho, the historic city center of Salvador, and in Santa Marta, a favela of Rio de Janeiro. State authorities tried to ban production over fears the video would damage their image. Interesting. The area and prospects of Rio de Janeiro staging the 2004 Olympics. Still, the residents of the area were happy to see Jackson, hoping their problems would be made visible to a wider audience. That sums up the importance and power of this music video and song. That sums it up. The second video was shot in a prison and contains footage of human rights abuses. Okay. They Don't Care About Us became a top 10 hit in European countries and number 1 in the Czech Republic, Germany, Hungary, and Italy. In the US, it reached number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100. The music video premiere was viewed by over 200 million people worldwide, making it one of the most viewed music videos. And as of June 2026, it sits at over 1.3 billion views on YouTube and rising. So I felt the power of this today, everybody. And it says here the song gained renewed attention due to its use during Black Lives Matter protests in 2014 and 2015, and again in 2020 with Spike Lee's director's cut of the music videos being combined, along with new footage of attacks against protesters. All right. Yep. He did it again. He did it again. Michael, the Messenger. Thank you so much for watching today's reaction video, everybody. It's time now to go check out the prison version, which I just learned contains actual footage of human rights abuses. Directed by Spike Lee as well, it appears. Please let me know your thoughts about this Brazilian version. Let me know your thoughts about the song, about the message, about how Michael put truth to music. And please continue to leave as many recommendations as your heart desires. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you all over on Patreon. Bye-bye, everybody.